everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something that I'm fairly certain is going to get me into trouble, but I'm going to be reviewing the Court and Thorns of Roses series and ranking the books from worst to best. Now, disclaimer, you might not agree with my rankings and that is perfectly okay, but I would just like you to remember that this is my opinion, and even the books that are put in the worst section are still some of my favourite books in the whole entire world. There are just some others that really hold my heart very, very close. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So in spot number 5, in last place, I have got A Court of Frost and Starlight. Now please don't hate me, I love this book, however, there is no real plot, there are no big stakes, there are no war, there are no battles. So compared to all the others, it just feels a little bit less. It's like a Christmas film with the entire Night Court. That's basically what this book is. And I have done a video on this book where I summarised it and basically talked about what's important and what you've missed if you haven't read it. So please do go check that out if you haven't already. But as much as I love it, it's short and it's sweet and it doesn't really add much to the actual story. You know, the bigger story. But again, like I said in the other video, it's important for emotional context and it's cute. But compared to the others, it just had to go last and I'm very sorry. So that brings us to spot number 4, of which I have had to put the classic A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, don't get me wrong, this book is iconic, it is necessary, it is setting up the story, it's world building, but there are just a few things that really put me off. So Feyre is a completely different character to what she is in the rest of the books, and this is completely understandable, by the way. You know, she's new to this whole world, she's new to all these people, she doesn't know what's going on, and she's human, she's got no powers, so it's understandable to a degree. But after reading the other books, when I go back to this one, it just makes me miss that side of her so much, to the point where it becomes almost like I'm impatient to get to the next one. And the other really big reason that I cannot go back to this book anymore with the same enjoyment is Tamlin.
Well, princess.
If you know, you know. So, by the way, big shout out to the girl who got a Tamlin tattoo after she read the first book. Just a moment of silence for that girl. So, yeah, he's a big bugbear for me, and at the time, you know, the first time I read that book, obviously Tamlin wasn't that much of an issue because you don't know any better as the reader. You think, oh, this is the first sort of fairy guy that we're introduced to properly, and the first sort of love interest, if you can call it that. And, you know, at the time, he was great, perfect. But once you've been introduced to the likes of Rhysand and how he is, you can't go back. So for that reason, I'm putting A Court of Thorns and Roses into spot number 4. So in spot number 3, we have got A Court of Wings and Ruin. Now this book is where things get good. I freaking loved this book. This is where you have the battles, the war, the plot, the character arcs. There is so much going on in this book. I literally felt like I was reading it faster and faster every single page that I was turning, because it was like I was on the edge of my seat. I had to know what happened next. And literally it got to the point where there were so many POVs and so many things happening that it was almost like difficult to keep a track of, and I love that in a book. Some people might not, but I genuinely loved it. It was so exciting, very exciting book. But the one thing it was missing, and I say missing, it had it, but it wasn't as prominent, was the emotional side of the book. You know, there was a couple of times where I got emotional because of it, but it wasn't like a real in-depth look between the characters. Now, I was emotional from the plot rather than the sort of smaller things that were going on between the characters and the conversations they were happening, which comes in the other books. So for that reason only, I am putting that book at number 3. Now, at spot number 2, this is where people get a little bit touchy, because I know that this book is some of the people's like, I will die on this hill, this is the best book that's ever existed book. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury. I know, sorry, it's not number 1, it's number 2 for me. So, I love this book. I love this book so much for so many of the reasons that other people love this book. It's the slow burn romance healing stage for Feyre. Like the start of the book, she's in the spring court, she's trying to get married to Tamlin, it's a whole thing, and by the end of the book she's completely switched sides. We learn who Tamlin really is. Like, you know, I love this book so much, if you can't tell. So yeah, this book's definitely number 2. It's the whole thing of, you know, oh, they stay overnight at the inn, but there's only one bed. What will they do? And it's for that this book is number 2. So, drum roll please. By the way, thank you, future me, for the editing for that drum roll. We have got, in number 1 spot, A Court of Silver Flames. Now, it's so funny with this book because it's like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it, and I feel like the percentage is that majority of people hate it. Why? It is the best book out of the series, and I remember as I was reading this series, I'd heard a lot of people say, oh, don't bother reading it, it's the worst one, blah 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 blah. So I was really nervous about starting to read it, and then as soon as I got into it, oh my god, I didn't know what these other people were talking about, because this book is the book of the series. Nesta, love that girl. Angry, emotional, like it is her entire story, redemption arc is just so beautiful and raw, and it's all about mental health and healing and becoming stronger in the person that you want to be. And again, for all those people who love A Court of Mist and Fury and love the slow burn romance, Nesta and Cassian, hello. And I think for me as well, I love a long-haired boy. That's all I can say about that. So therefore, this book and all the elements in it, it is my number 1 choice. So there you have it, they are my rankings. So in number 5 we had A Court of Frost and Starlight, in number 4 we had A Court of Thorns and Roses, in number 3 A Court of Wings and Ruin, number 2 A Court of Mist and Fury, and at number 1 A Court of Silver Flames. So please let me know what your rankings are, whether you completely disagree with me, but I have one rule, which is be nice to me, because I'm sensitive and I cannot take the hate. So why am I on YouTube? Why am I doing this? I do not know. However, I would still like to know your opinion, so please drop a comment down below, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you would like, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!